Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. Edit Be Kiss is a holistic mentor, success habit coach, and #1 bestseller author who helps people transform from misery to peace within 30 days. A former petroleum engineer turned international speaker and Humanitarian Award winner, Edit blends ancient healing techniques with neuroscience to guide clients worldwide in releasing trauma, healing ancestral karma, and embracing a life of joy, fulfillment, and spiritual expansion. Well, Edit, I love your name, by the way, Edit because it flows beautifully. Thank you so much for being on my show today.
Hi Gina, thank you so much for having me. And that's my real name. It's in my
Yeah,
birth certificate, so it's not a stage name.
that's beautiful. Now, you've actually had a fascinating journey from petroleum engineering to holistic mentor and international speaker. Can you just go ahead and share what sparked that transformation and how it led you into the healing work you actually do today?
Yeah, so even though I was already learning some healing modalities, Reiki and family constellation therapy like 20 years ago, since like 2004, but it was in a dormant, like it was more like a hobby or a sanctuary. And then the pivotal moment was when I actually learned about karma yoga healing, and then I activated the pineal gland and started to have insane synchronicities and serendipities, and downloads. That's what, and then I also learned in the karma yoga healing techniques, which helped me finally overcome and heal from certain things which I couldn't for decades. So that was my pivotal moment when I decided that, yeah, I need to show this to people and help them.
And then you also often talk about moving people from misery to peace in 30 days. That is super powerful. Now, what does that process actually look like, and what inspired you to go ahead and create it?
Originally, it was an 8 weeks program. So, like back in 2022, 21, 22, like COVID, after COVID, like, when I couldn't do like one-on-one face-to-face sessions in London, then I went online and then I started to create like online programs. And then I decided to do like a 8 weeks one. And then I started to work with the clients, and they came to me with depression, PTSD, sometimes feeling lost or just having also like panic attacks or anxiety. So I started to work with them, and then I realized that even though we were together for 8 weeks, like after like 4 weeks they were already smiling and ready to go into their next adventure, and then feeling already empowered and happy about their healings. So I was like, okay, so if it's already at the 4 weeks is they so well, then it could be even a 30 days incubator. So it's the next, the second part was more like giving them guidance, life coaching, and still some healings, obviously, but it wasn't that pivotal like the first 4 weeks. So that's why I decided like, okay, let's do just the 30 days incubator now and see like it's really about how transform people. And then it worked like, yes, I offer different things in these 30 days, obviously. So there is an access to the meditation library. So they do every day a different meditation. I tell them what to do, like a homework. And then also they have 4 sessions with me, private sessions, one-on-one sessions, like a 2 hour session, because we go deep into the unconscious mind to find those memories which needs to be healed. And also there is access to a life transformation system course. This course is important because there are so many information out there what they need to understand for their transformation, like about raise your vibration, about ancestors, about mindfulness, about all kinds of things which might they haven't learned before. So I don't want to waste time explaining them during my private sessions. So I like, okay, if they go through that course, at least they have that background information already.
Yeah, do you mind sharing a success story of a client of yours who've actually gone through that process and had amazing transformation?
Yes, absolutely. I had someone who had panic attacks, and she came to me with severe intensity. Like every day, she was crying, and then just couldn't do anything, couldn't go outside, couldn't do any proper things. So with her, first I had to start even with some energy healing sessions to actually get to the point to meditate and do the healing, the deep healing. So first, and then I also advised to change the diet. What she was eating, adding some supplements, because it's sometimes when they have when you have deficiency in the body of vitamin B or iron, then you are more amplified your mental health issues, your reactions towards triggers. So that's what we started in the first week. And then when she felt better, then we started the meditations and the healing process basically. And after 4 weeks, she was already feeling fine and ready to go back to the university because she was a student and it was like in the summertime. So it was really powerful and we really had to make it happen. It was like an urgency as well. Like, yeah, it has to happen in 4 weeks because then she needs to go back. So then, and I was very happy that she managed to. And I had recently another client who yeah, she came to me like with sadness, depression, grief, heartbreak, all of these things. And then she knew me for years, but why she never decided to work with me because it wasn't again that urgency. And then suddenly she got, something. So the doctors told her that there is something in her brain which could be serious and stuff like that. So she was like, "Oh my God, no, I need help because I'm freaking out." So then she came to me, and then we started to work with this 30 days incubator. And then the end of it, she felt so aligned, so empowered, happy. And then suddenly I started to see her like very a lot on social media. I was like, what's going on with this girl? And then I asked her like, how you doing? You look amazing. You're doing amazing stuff. And she was like, yeah, thanks to you. I was like, okay, awesome.
That's amazing. Yes, changing our whole lifestyle makes a huge difference. I suffered from many panic attacks before to a point where I thought I needed to go to the hospital because I felt like I was going to die. But then I learned later on, the worst thing that can happen with these panic attacks is you may black out, but you know what? You get back, you wake up, you wake up again. And so for me, I really had to get rid of the alcohol. I was a professional drinker back in my past life. Not anymore. I've been 8 years sober now. But I noticed that was the first thing. And then, yes, you're correct. Get back into the body. That was the first thing I did when I quit drinking is I'm like, I need to love my body. And so I started working out. I started eating more nutritious items, taking supplements, and just doing that regular routine for myself. And it made a big difference. And then I was able to do more of the other work, later on than mind and soul and all of that, because it's all connected. My body, soul is all connected. Yeah. So I know that many of us actually do carry a lot of wounds we don't realize that are shaping our lives. How do you go ahead and how do you pretty much how do you help unresolved traumas, I guess I should say, and ancestral karma? How do you help them get rid of that? And so that way they can start to live to who they truly are day to day.
Yes, absolutely. It's affecting their everyday life because they're riding an emotional roller coaster, what affecting their decisions. So how they get the healing is that we access the unconscious mind, where all the traumas are actually buried on all the unresolved traumas. Because some people, when a traumatic experience happening to them, but even not traumatic experience, sometimes it's just an event when you react with negative emotions. So it could be even when you go first time to the kindergarten and you are scared, you are lonely, the mommy is leaving you there. So it's like that kind of feeling. And then you don't think it's a traumatizing experience, but I had it with clients that actually we went back to that memory to release it because that was one of the memory which created the current situation. So how we do that, we access our multidimensional existence, and the multidimensional existence is our past, and the future, and then also the family unconscious, the soul family. So when we go into these memories, past memories, the unconscious mind, which is guiding us, that which memory is actually aligned with the situation which is going on right now. So that's how we access, and then we access it through transcendental state. So we need to do a meditation first, samadhi meditation to transcend into transcendental state, and that's how we go into the unconscious mind. And then we go into memories one by one and we release the negative emotions one by one. So sometimes it takes two memories, sometimes it's six or seven. It depends, what is the situation and how the person actually gathered all of those negative energies. And with the ancestral situation is again, you access the family unconscious. And then when you access the family unconscious, you are basically connected with the other souls, other spirits, and you can release it from there.
You see, yes. I had to go through a lot. I had to really sit with myself. It was ugly having to sit with yourself with all the traumas that I've gone through when I was a little child, thinking back about it and like, oh, it's an ugly place to be in. But I had to because that's what helped me heal is like I had to like because otherwise I was masking it like I said with drinking. Now I should have asked this question before I asked the last one, but can you just go ahead and explain ancestral healing in a way that maybe someone new to that concept could understand?
Yeah, so some people would be like asking like why do we need to heal ancestors? Like they already gone, they why we need to heal them and how is it affecting our life? So when your ancestors went through traumatic experiences, a divorce or grief, they started to apply certain reactions to that trigger, basically to that experience. And what they started to apply certain habits, certain conditions or way of being, it started to inherit it to your lineage through again the experiences. Like your grandma maybe had the divorce, and then your mom was the daughter, so she knew how the grandma was acting. So it's like she took that kind of way of being, and then when she became like the daughter. So basically, how you look at the patterns, you live with that patterns as a child, how the ancestors lived, and then you inherit that, you bring it with you basically, and then it becomes your part of your life, how you react, how you talk, how you because that's what you grow up with, so and then that person maybe created that through a trauma. So that could happen. And what is how you stop this basically. The first thing I done like back in like decades ago was the family constellation therapy. That's the easiest way to explain. So in a family constellation therapy, what happens is that again, you have a current situation, maybe some relationship issue with your husband, and then it turns out when you invite the spirits of your ancestors into current human beings, like you can actually do that in a family constellation therapy, you invite the spirits into our body and we experience their emotions, we experience their feelings, how they react in certain situations, how they feel about each other. So literally the grandpa and the grandma can stand in front of each other and feel that energy, the spirits. And there has to be like the forgiveness, the release, the healing going on with the spirits. We as the humans, we just give our body to experience that and to be guided through this process. Because when they die, they just leave their physical body and then they don't have any physical pain, but their spirit, their soul is still carrying all of that traumatic experiences from all the past lives. So, and then all of these things. So basically when you go in and then you help them to release that, to heal from that, this is actually start to affect your own current reality, because you rewrite these things in the Akashic records, you rewrite these things on a very deep level, and you actually create a much better experience for those spirits as well when they go into their next lifetime or the next lifetime. So they feel also very grateful to your healings, to your help, and then you receive more blessings also. So because they are in a higher vibration or in a higher dimension, they are able to send you blessings. They are able to, tweak things in your life, I would say. And then if you help them in this way, they help you back as well.
Wow. Yes, I noticed. Okay, so my moms, they're all very abusive to their children. My mom was still giving me spankings as a little girl. And then, but I don't know, we're different now. How the way she raised me is completely different how I raise my kids now. I don't do spankings, actually, because we're so close and our family is so close that if my son misbehaves, he's like going to be 10 next week. All I have to do is look at him and he senses my energy. He puts himself on timeout. I don't have to do anything. He already knows. I don't know, maybe because we have these discussions about reprimanding and we have open discussions about things like I felt like I couldn't talk about my feelings to my mom, otherwise she'd shut me down like, oh, just stop crying, don't get mad. But I think it's important for us, for all of us actually, to feel and to go through that emotion. And it's okay. Like I, with my son cries, I say, cry it out. Yes, it's because it's going to release whatever is going on inside there. For me, I never cried anything out. Everything just stuck in there all the time. So I'm glad I'm breaking that generational trauma, I guess what people would call it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. case, it's the mindfulness what you also used. It's also very powerful for healing the mindfulness. So to breaking generational patterns is through mindfulness because you understood that that won't work. What what they done with you, or it would cause more trouble in the future for your son if you would behave the same way, right? So it's like you understood what's going on, so you were disciplined and mindful enough to stop that kind of pattern and made the different decision. So it's really important also to understand that we can actually stop karmic patterns, ancestral karma, or our own karmic patterns when we make a better decision, when we make decisions which is good for everybody, which not hurting others or which not jeopardizing others. If you make decisions, from a good space, then basically you actually stopping patterns.
Yeah. Now, what are some common misconceptions you've actually noticed about trauma healing, or even like karma that hold people back from doing that deeper work?
Yeah, they believe, I think, that it's they gonna get traumatized again. They are afraid that it's gonna maybe hurt them the same way as it hurt at the original time.
Mm.
But it's not true. So when I'm doing this work with the clients and they going into that memory, it's more like they feel the way like they're watching it in a movie theater. It's not that close. They can still step into the emotions for the release part, but it takes couple of maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes in one memory basically that they need to be there and experience those emotions. But it's still like when you are watching a movie, it's not that intense. There are some modalities which could be intense out there, but this what I use, the source memory healing, is a very gentle and very deep and profound method. So that's why also my clients like it.
I see. And I also notice you're using the word multidimensional. We are all multidimensional beings, right? It's just some of us don't have awareness on it just yet. What does living multidimensionally mean to you? And how can someone begin to open up to that reality in their own life?
Yeah, so when you understand that you are multidimensional, then basically you understand that this reality what you live is just a very small tiny part of it, and you need to go out there to your multidimensional existence to fix things. You can't fix everything here. You can some, when it's all about your vitality, when talked about the vitamins or nutrients or exercise, but there are some things what you just can't heal and fix if you just stay in this reality. You need to go into those layers of yourself, which we talked about, the past lives or inner child, like healing the inner child, going into childhood traumas and to the ancestors and karma, all of those things. So you need to get access to those and get out to your multidimensional existence as well if you want to really enjoy and live to the fullest your current reality.
Yes. And now let's talk about the pineal gland. I always call, which is could be called like the near the third eye, right? Which I always call it the first eye. I don't know. Whenever I go in dream state, I see everything more so than I am in this reality. Why is the pineal gland activation such a key part of spiritual awakening? What are perhaps some safe practice people can go ahead to begin exploring?
Yeah, so a pineal gland activation is it's opening your third eye because many people has calcified pineal gland, so they don't use it. It's also dormant. It's like it's just there, but they don't have the access. What happening is that because the third eye is connected with that, when your third eye chakra is blocked, then you stop trusting, you feel more worried, you have more fear. And when you start opening the pineal gland and the third eye, you first start to feel like more intuitive thoughts coming in, more breadcrumbs coming in. You start to feel the direction, your purpose, where you're going, what you want to do. You got more empowered, and you are also feeling more the connection with your higher self as well and with the source. So it's really powerful to experience that. Like you can sense more things, like the sixth sense, basically. So when you close your other eyes, the two eyes, then you have your third eye open, basically. That's your sixth sense. So you start to be more aware of your multidimensional existence. And it's not when you activate the pineal gland, it's not just about the third eye and about this amazing feelings and downloads, but also it starts to help you to produce necessary hormones that you only produce at deep sleep. So activating pineal gland is already bringing you to transcendental state, which is going into delta or theta and delta brain waves. So it's a quick way to transcend, to activate the pineal gland. So, and then when you go into those delta and theta brain waves, that's when you can actually start healing more, because you raise your vibration to the vibration of the universe when you are in those brain waves, and you start to produce also necessary hormones like serotonin, oxytocin, melatonin, growth hormone, and it helps you with your focus, becoming more kind person because of the oxytocin, having a better mood because of the serotonin, and also having a more vital body. So people who's reportedly using samadhi meditation, because of the growth hormone, you look younger, and then you have a more vital body, basically. So it's really great daily practice to give an extra boost of those hormones and have, as I said, a better sleep, and is overall like lifestyle changing. I had clients who didn't even come to me for sessions, but they were just trying out the meditations, and they said they already experienced so much growth and so much well-being in their life just through the meditations. So it's really powerful.
Yes, what is the best meditation to do, in your opinion? Because I've
Yeah,
tried different
absolutely.
kinds.
Yeah.
And they're all great in its own way, but in your opinion, what is the best
Yeah,
one?
absolutely. The samadhi meditation. That's an Adiyogi Shiva technique. It's a 60,000 years old
Oh, wow.
meditation technique from Shiva, from Adiyogi Shiva. And basically, samadhi is the one which helps you to actually first spinning up the chakras, cleaning, balancing the chakras, then activating your eighth chakra as well, which is the chakra of your aura, also connecting you with the karma vortex, and then also activating your pineal gland. So it's a really um, powerful and profound, and it's also very simple. So people would think it's a bit complicated, but if you do it in a guided, in a guided meditation, then basically it's a 15 minutes part to put you into transcendental state. And when you are there at the end of the guided part, then you can stay as long as you want, because that's when you actually start the real healing, the real uh, yeah, the transformation and healing of your body. I used it once when I had like some uh, bladder infection situation going on, and then I booked myself with the doctor next day, and then in the evening I decided to do this samadhi meditation, and then just stay in that vibration. And I did the 15 minutes, and then I just decided to stay in that vibration, and in the whole night I was vibrating like that. Sometimes I woke up at night and was like, oh, I'm still there, okay. So I was just let myself to stay in that vibration. In the morning I woke up and then I had no more symptoms. I had to cancel my appointment, because you put yourself with the vibration of the universe. It's basically, it's the healing. It's like there is no negative energies, there is no pain, there is no illness in that vibration.
Wow. You literally healed yourself.
I mean, it's the universe, like the energy, like because you become one with the
Right.
universe.
Yes. And speaking about the universe, and for me, I'm all about surrendering. I had to surrender to the universe in order for me to get healed. And like you said, I became one with the universe. I call it Gus, God, universe, source. It's all love. That's what it is. And I know that change can feel very scary, even when we know it's needed. Like I remember knowing that I needed to stop drinking, but it was very difficult. It was very difficult. What are some ways people can go ahead and begin to embrace change rather than resist it?
This is really interesting, because this meditation helps with that too. So
Oh,
when the first thing would be like counting your blessings, being in gratitude. We always say that, and because you need to bring yourself up to higher vibrational emotions, and you need to have positive thinking to do that. And but someone is in the rabbit hole, it's really difficult to start thinking positive or start thinking about their blessings when they are really suffering, right? So when they start to do this meditation, that's going to be easier and easier every day to be more positive, to see the good things in life, and then start to be like more grateful. And then that's the first steps. And then as you start feeling better and better, you attract better things into your life, because that's how we also manifest, right? So basically, through this meditation, you can come out of the rabbit hole slowly, and just having that more positive experiences every day, because that's really important to have positive thoughts.
Yes, and in your opinion, how does surrender differ from giving up? I've had so many points where I'm like, I just give up. And how can surrender become a pathway to peace?
Yeah, actually, when you say you give up, giving up is similar to surrender. You give up your power to God, right? You let go to let God. So basically, when you say give up, it means like I can't do more, right? I can't do anything more. I've done so much. I've tried everything. So now I give up because I can't do anything more. But in that moment, maybe you don't make decisions. You just rest, right? And then when you are in that giving up resting mode, maybe for a week or two, or I don't know how long, then that's when the universe starts to bring in certain, guidance, informations, serendipities, whatever it is, to nudge you to the right direction, because sometimes you need to adjust, you need to reflect, and those are the times when you need to basically surrender, to realize that you were off track, or you should do differently things, because when we are striving, it's we don't really have time to reflect. We just go, 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 especially now when it's like everything is just sped up, like, oh, so speedy, your whole day, and then you don't even have time to think like, how could I make it differently? You just do whatever you were doing. And when you are actually surrender, that's when you have time finally to adjust, to reflect, and then to make it a bit differently, and then that's maybe start working again. So
Yes, let go and let God. Yes, I love that because that's what it comes down to. Just whatever you can't control anything, that God control it. There's certain things that we can control, how we respond to things, our emotions, our thoughts. But certain things we're like, okay, I need help. Yes, give it to God and let go, and then you will see magic happen afterward. So, for those listening who are struggling with trauma, fear, or resistance to change, what is one simple, loving step they can go ahead and take today to begin moving towards more peace and fulfillment?
I would say, like, first they need to examine their life like you did. Like, what are the things which is self-sabotaging them, or what are the habits, or the things in their life which is brings in maybe toxicity, or the environment, or people who they need to get rid of. Like, basically there is so many things which affecting you and triggering you, and do you really need them, or do you really need to be there, or is it really good for you, or can you actually stop doing certain things, or get rid of all of those things which is triggering you? So that would be the first step, to make a list, like, what am I doing wrong? Because maybe you drink alcohol, or you drink a lot of caffeine, or maybe you don't eat healthy, or all of those things. And again, with the meditations, it's easier to make those steps, but the list is important, to make that list, like, yeah, what are the things I should stop, or what are the things I shouldn't do, or people I shouldn't meet, or shouldn't talk, because they are actually toxic to me, or they are dragging me to do certain things, right? And then the same is like a work environment. I had clients who actually, several of them, who left their job after working with me, because it was really obvious that they were really under huge stress. The environment was totally toxic. They were used, manipulated, controlled, all of these things. And then as soon as they actually also left that workplace, they felt much better. So sometimes it's just lifestyle change you need to do, and then it already brings you more peace and harmony. So it's like what you need to get rid of. That's the first thing.
I love that. Edit. So, where can our listeners go ahead and connect with you, get your book, work with you, follow you on social media, all of that?
Yeah, so I have a website, editbkiss.com, so they can also go in there, and my social media they can find there. So they can actually go to my YouTube channel. I have a meditation playlist there, and powerful hour-long healings, also videos in my YouTube channel. So I highly recommend to tune in there. And I also have a school community, which means like you can come and actually spend time with me on my sessions, on my workshops, live. You can ask me questions, work with me, and the school community currently free. So I highly recommend you to join now before it becomes paid. And then basically I have a meditation library there. I have my life transformation system course there and some workshops and trainings as well. So I highly recommend you to join. And it's really a great place to start your healing.
Beautiful. And
And
I will have,
by
oh,
the way, I forgot the name. So the school community is called Release with Ease. So if you go to school.com, you just search for Release with Ease.
perfect. And I will have all the links in the show notes for our listeners. But I always ask this question to my guest, and I always ask, what does it mean to you to shine within?
I think is bringing more compassion and love into everybody's life, like being the light for them. Like when I was going through my healing journey, like in many times, I was struggling myself, so it wasn't easy to always be the light for others. But when I shifted into the other side, and then finally I'm not riding an emotional roller coaster, I'm just enjoying life, and then I see how the other people are struggling. I'm just always there for them to show them the best possible things. Like what if you could actually have that on the right way, or what if it's like bringing them always positivity. So that's how I see like shining within. And then I also encourage other, like healers and facilitators who's working with people to be that guiding light for others basically, and then be compassionate and loving, and not the one who's reacting or angry or sad, but because you can, we have a choice. You have a choice how you want to feel. And then I even had sometimes clients who's coming to me and say like, sometimes I feel a bit used or drained because some friends taking, advantage on me, like I need to help them to do this, or I need to help them to do that. And I was telling them like, you can actually change the perspective how you look at it. What if you look at it the way that they need you, they actually want your opinion, they want your help because you are so amazing and you are the one who can solve their problem. So what if you look at it the way like, wow, I'm the hero of the day because I actually helped them to overcome whatever issue they had, and you don't look at it the way like they're using you. So I changed this lady's perspective about it, that is it can be about the others because it can still bring you fulfillment and happiness, that wow, actually today I was the hero of that person, because otherwise they couldn't manage that situation if I'm not there and helping them. You can look at it the way like, oh, they use me, I spend time on them, not on myself. But if you think about the hero perspective, that then it fulfills you, so it was still you were there, you were having still an experience. Yeah, you were not at home meditating, but it's not life, just to sit at home and meditate. That's the when people think about like self time, or self-care time, they always think about like, oh, having a massage or meditate or being in a pool. But what if the self-care time is to, as many people do, volunteerings? Some people is volunteering in certain places because they feel fulfilled, they feel useful, they feel like they're contributing. That's one of the human needs. So I believe that that's also your fulfillment, also part of your happiness, to help others. So whenever you need to help others, don't look at it like, oh, they're using me, or look at it the way like, wow, I'm so amazing, I could actually help.
Yes, and I love that thought perspective because it's true. We just reframe our mindset that way and think about it differently and saying, hey, I'm actually helping this person and they're benefiting from it. So that should automatically bring joy to your heart. I know for myself, self-care was that serving, doing the things out there, volunteering, and I loved it. And that was so healing for me is by helping others. So I totally agree with you. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, some people don't look at it that way, but unless you give advice to this person and they don't want to do nothing and they don't want to do and they're sucking your energy, then okay, maybe set some boundaries there. But if they're willing to listen to you and take advice from you and take and do that action work, then you're helping them out. Look at it that way. I love that. Well, Edith, thank you so much for being on my show today. Any last words or thoughts you'd like to share?
What about my books? Like there is one book on Amazon which called On the Healer's Journey. It's also about finding your light and then being the light for others. It's for coaching book for seekers and people who wants to be a light worker. So it's on the healer's journey. And I have a new book coming out soon. It's called The Gap Filler Success. And it's a success book about like how you can reach your goals, how you go from A to B. That's like filling the gap basically between the current status or the current situation and your goal or your dreams, right? And I tell many stories from my lifetime in that book. So it's like an adventure book as well, because I traveled around the world and I've done so many works, all kinds of things. And so it's an adventure book as well, but I'm also giving lots of guidance and step by step guides, like which you can implement immediately to reach your own goals. And it's half of the book was created for people who's not that spiritual, which means that they more just, you know, strategic and taking action and that kind of way, how they think to reach their goals. And the other half of the book is more spiritual, where I also include like law of attraction, astrology, numerology, because that's how my life was as well. Like at the first couple of decades, you know, I was just more strategic and mindful about how to reach my goals. But in the second part, I realized that I put in more spiritual work, then actually I can achieve more or faster things.
Oh, that's awesome. And when does that book come out?
I'm planning to have it in October on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. So do send me that link and then I will go ahead and add it into the show notes when it comes out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for being on my show today. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Gina.
Oops. Where's my well, where'd my button